Okay, here we are for our next video installment, and we're going to talk about multiple scenes. So in our first game we had one scene, and that was the game, and the game would count down the score, and then on that same scene would be your win option and whether you wish to replay the game. So now we're going to actually create some more scenes. Haha! We're going to have an opening scene, like a welcome scene, and the game scene, and the win scene, and the lose scene, because now we're going to add some enemies. So, what we're going to do is just add those very few in here. I mean, you can add more. You can add level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. But we're just going to start with the basics with a welcome, win, lose, and the game. So in order to advance between these scenes, you need something that's like a level manager or a scene manager. We're going to call it level manager. You can call it scene manager. We're just going to call it level manager. So let's get started with that. So the first thing you're going to do is create this. And it is, guess what? An empty object. And you're going to create the empty object, name it level manager, all one word, with a little camel type printing, and then reset the object's axes to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here to my game and create an empty object, name that object. And I have to really pay attention when I'm naming objects because I see things backwards, as some of you may know by now. So on this new empty object, I'm actually, it's off the recording here, so let me move this just a little bit for you. I want to select the cog and select reset. And what that does is it takes the transform positions and sets the positions all to 0 because we don't need it right smack dab where it was. So there's our level manager. It's created. So now we need to add a C# script to this level manager. There are so many ways that you can add a script. I know that you've been working on this and really reviewing this. So this time we're going to actually add a component, and we're going to say a script. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to add a component, and we're going to add a new script, not a script that's already created, a new script, and we're going to call this script level manager. The same thing that the object is named, and that's okay that we can do that. So when adding a script this particular way, if I go to my level manager, or I go, well, let me back up there. I'm actually in my scripts folder, and that script is not in here in this scripts folder. So what happens is when you add a script via the add component, it falls into the default assets folder. So you need to move that script into the scripts folder. File management, file management, file management. So then open up your scripts folder now and open up the level manager script. So we're going to come over to our, what is this called? IDE. Might be on a test what an IDE is. You might want to remember what that is. But we're going to add the script. And Unity always defaults with the using options. And these are, remember, they're kind of like libraries that are called upon. So you'll have to add up here in this option. We need to call another library. So we're going to call using Unity Engine, and if you type, it'll actually come up, and you can drop down and select it so you're not typing or typing things backwards like I would do. So you can select that dot scene manager, and it pops right up, and you hit that and put your colon at the end and hit your enter option, and you are ready to go. You're ready to add the rest of the script. So what I'd like for you to do is to go ahead and take a look at the document and type that in there. Try typing it and not copying and pasting. It's very important that you learn how to start typing your scripts. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. So let's take a look at what you did. So what you did was you created a public function so it could be called on during the game. And that function is called load level. So then you added a testing, this debug here. This is actually how you test, and this is kind of new to you. So the debug option, when the game is run, is going to show in the console. Let me move this out of the way. So I don't have my console opened right here. So if I go over to the Windows layout and then I hit the default option, this is the console. And when you have something that states debug.log, it is going to debug and log in your console. This is also the area that will show you where any errors or warnings are. If you have an error, the game may not play until it is completed. And what's really cool about an error is it will tell you exactly where it is. So if there was an error here on line 9, it would say, oh, there's this error on the level manager script, and it's on line 9, and it's at space blah blah blah, and it actually kind of gives you a little hint of what that error is. So that's what the debug.log does. So the next thing is our state, which tells us what's going to happen. So the scene manager is going to load this scene, right? So then if we're going to quit, that says, you know, if I hit the quit option, if I hit that quit, it's going to say, okay, I want to quit. So okay, I'm going to quit, and that's that. Now if you haven't saved, you're going to see this little circle here. Let me make sure that you can see that little. That means I haven't saved. So I'm going to go ahead and save using my shortcut key command of Control S, and I'm going to head back over to the game and select my level manager, and I see that the script is added. And if I go into my projects folder and into my main assets, I see that everything is nice and neat. There's nothing hanging out here all alone, the little orphan that happens. So the next thing that we need to do with our level manager is to make a prefab, because we are going to use it in the other scenes. So go ahead and from your hierarchy, select your level manager and drag it down to the prefabs. You know how to do that. You've done that many times. You know it's a prefab because it turns blue in the hierarchy. That's our first step in multiple scenes.